Hey guys, Ginger here. Welcome back to my channel, and today we are back again for My Week in Books, the new series on my channel where I update you guys weekly on what I've been reading because I'm bad at vlogging. Last week was pretty freaking good. I made it a goal for me to read a lot over the weekend, and I did, so that was good. So I have technically 4 books to talk to you guys about, and then 2 other ones that I'm going to mention briefly. So I guess let's just get into it because I did well reading this week. The first book I have to talk about is The Book of Lost Names by Kristen Harmel, and this was a 5 out of 5 stars for me. It was really good for me to read a book that I super enjoyed. It's been a while. If you watched my mid-year freakout tag, you know that I've only rated 3 books 5 stars this year. So yeah, this is a historical fiction novel that focuses on our main character, Eva, who has to flee Paris with her mother after her father is taken by the Nazis, as this is set in the World War II era, and the Jewish people in Paris are being taken away. So she is able to flee Paris because she forges documents for her mother and herself, and the rebellion, the people who are rebelling against this atrocious event, find out about her forging talent and ask her to help them. So that's kind of what this book is about, and it's based off a true story, so that's really cool. And I have been really wanting to get into more historical fiction because the 2 that I've read this year, I've really enjoyed. The first one being The Great Alone, which I gave 4.5 out of 5 stars, and then this one 5 out of 5 stars. And I have a whole little shelf of historical fiction on there. It's just intimidating to me because I go into them thinking I'm not going to like it, and then I've loved them. And this one it has the really powerful messages behind the Holocaust happenings, of course, even though it's set in France, and there is a romance in here, and it's just really impactful, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm really glad that I got it for review. This comes out on the 21st. Yes, the 21st of July. So if you are really into historical fiction and you like World War II books, then I definitely would recommend this. Even if you don't really know if you like historical fiction, but you want to dabble in it, then I do also recommend this to you because I just thought it was great, and I'm very glad I read it. So that was the first book that I finished this week. And the second book I finished this week was also awesome, and that was The Night Swim by Megan Golden. And every time I read a thriller, I kind of just am like, this is probably just going to be average for me. Most of my thrillers I rate a 3-star, or if they're really bad, lower. If they're better, then a little higher. And I rated this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it would go on my favorite thriller shelf, but I definitely want to keep it and pass it on to other people to read. I just thought it was very realistic and very impactful. There's definite trigger warnings for rape and sexual assault in here, as that is the main premise of the book. But we are following our main character, Rachel, who has a podcast that is following a rape trial in this small town, and she receives letters from this woman named Hannah asking her to help solve the mystery of her sister's murder from 20 years past. And there's just a lot of really good commentary on sexual assault and how women are treated in here. And if you like books with podcasts, then again, this one would be really good for you because that is an element in here. And again, the realistic aspect. I think that there's a lot of times that domestic or more realistic thrillers have a twist in them that I do not believe, but this one was very believable, and I enjoyed it. And I think that it was really well done, and I read it really fast, so I'm very glad. Again, I received this one for review. This one comes out in August, on the 4th of August, so if you are a thriller lover and looking for a good thriller, then I say keep an eye out for this one. And if you are someone who is not going to be bothered by the trigger warnings, but is looking for a thriller to kind of get you into reading thrillers, I think this one would be a good one because it's not like, it has contemporary elements to it, but with the thrillery twists. And so I was very, very surprised, and I really want to read more of Megan Goldin's work. Her first novel especially, maybe not The Escape Room, I haven't heard good things about that, but I'm just very glad I read 2 really good books at the beginning of this week. And then things go a little south. I had another ARC that I received, which was This Little Light by Lori Lansons, and it was pitched as a modern Handmaid's Tale Vox novel, and I really was interested in it, but then I started reading it, and I got 70 pages in, or 75 pages in, so like this far, which is a decent chunk, and I just couldn't continue with it, unfortunately. The main character, Rory, reads very annoyingly. She is very, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, they have a lot of cringy lingo in here. Language, I guess. And it just reads like someone really forcing themselves to write as a 16-year-old girl. And also, this only takes place in 2024, which is 4 years from now, and I think that the idea of this would have been better set in at least 10 years from now, like having someone growing up in the society that they made, because I don't know, it just didn't work for me, and that's completely okay. So I DNF'd it, and I will be passing it on to someone else. This one comes out in August as well, if you're interested in it. I guess I didn't really tell you about the plot, but it's set in a near future where abortion is recriminalized and Christianity is kind of like a very big staple in the world, and like you have to pledge yourself to your father to be a virgin until you're married, and like that kind of icky stuff. And I'm sorry if you're religious, I just mean like the way that it's portrayed in this book was gross. Like, it made me feel creepy, like how they had to pledge, and so I just really didn't like it, and I think that I would prefer reading a different book with the same ideas, because this one just did not do it for me. So if you are more interested in this and you would like to try it, I could send it your way, as again, it is an advanced reader copy, and I would love for someone who actually is going to enjoy it to read it. So yeah, unfortunately I just didn't like it, so I had to DNF this. But that's okay. You're not going to like every book you pick up, and I'm trying to get better about not forcing myself to read books that I am not going to enjoy, because there's no point to. And then I did finish one other book this week, and that was After Sundown, which is a collection of short stories that I also received for review from Flame Tree Press. Thank you guys. And this was my first NetGalley ARC, so that was really, really freaking exciting. I get Flame Tree Press's newsletter, and they had this one in their newsletter, and so I requested it on NetGalley, I got it, and I read it. And this has a lot of horror writers in it. It is a horror anthology. I really wanted to pick it up because I saw CJ Tudor's name on there, and I have liked CJ Tudor's work in the past. I only gave this a 3 out of 5 stars, which is average. I rated everything and then averaged that all out, and I think it was a 2.92 was the average, so rounded that up to a 3. Mostly a lot of the stories just didn't feel creepy to me, and going into a horror anthology, I was really, really looking for that horror creepy feel, so that was something that some of the stories disappointed me in, and then other stories I really just didn't vibe with the writing style and how the short story was portrayed, so unfortunately I just didn't, like those as much. I gave 2 of them 5 stars. The Murder Board by Grady Hendrix, and then It Doesn't Feel Right by Matthew Smith, I believe. I will correct myself if I was wrong because I don't have my book up, but I think that if you are looking to get into horror a little bit and you don't know where to start, this could be a really good thing to pick up, and it could be really good if you are going to be doing a spooky readathon in October, because it's always good to have like a short story collection to read with throughout the week. But I do think that this might not be as good for people who are more veterans to the horror genre. Even though I haven't read a ton of horror, I really want to, and I think that there were more stories that weren't as scary than others. So that's just my personal opinion, but if it is something you're interested in. It does come out in October during the spooky season, so keep a watch out for that if you're interested in it. And then those are all the books that I finished, but I did start 2 books that I will be continuing on until the reading rush, hopefully. At least one of them. I don't know about the second, as I might put that off till after the reading rush, just because it has a writing style that is going to take me a little longer to read. Totally fine though. But the first one that I started was Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. You guys picked this one for me on Twitter, so thank you guys. I'm going to be finishing the Arc of Scythe trilogy hopefully this month. So I am reading Thunderhead right now, and then I have the tool behind me if I get through this. I am planning to try to read this within 3 days, and so that'll be about 167 pages a day. My chunk for today is this much, which I found that the Scythe books, or at least the first one, read really fast, so I think that I will be able to get through that chunk very quickly today. And then the other book that I started was The Plague Dogs by Richard Adams, which is the author of Watership Down, one of my favorite books. And I had picked this one from my TBR jar, and the only thing about it is that the words are very small and it's a very dense novel, so I think it's just going to take me a little longer to get through. This is probably going to be something I can read during work or something, because I will have all the time in the world to read it, but I am very excited. I use excited loosely because this is probably going to make me sad, but I really just want to read this because I love animal books and I just love really good stories, and Richard Adams has impressed me in the past, so I picked this one up. So those are the books that I will be continuing into next week. I have finished 3 books. I DNF'd 1 book. It was a pretty good reading week considering I didn't read anything in June. I'm doing freaking good. So let me know in the comments what you guys read last week and what you are currently reading. I would love to know. And again, if you are enjoying this series and want me to continue, let me know. Or if you want me to do something else, like kind of more of a vlog type of thing weekly, let me know in the comments. I really just want you guys' opinion. This has just recently been better for me because I am slowly getting back into the vlog process, which hopefully the reading rush next week will help me do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more of my content in the future. Like I said, I will be vlogging for the reading rush, so you have that to look forward to. But thank you guys so much again, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!